Welcome to Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in the Inland Empire. Honored to have Mike Ramos with us today. Mr. Ramos is the District Attorney for San Bernardino County, also the President of the National District Attorneys Association. And as a result of your national leadership, you had the honor of meeting with the Attorney General of the United States of America. Jeff Sessions, and I'd love to hear, to the extent you can tell us, about that meeting. It was you and a couple of your...
It was myself and a couple of my executive board members on the National DAs Association. And
how did it happen? But back up for a second. How did you even get the meeting?
Well, we had first written a letter of support, knowing his background regarding
for his nomination
to Attorney General. And we came out then, and we were looking forward to having somebody that was strong about public safety.
I understand.
In America. So as soon as he was confirmed, we sent an email to him, the staff at NDAA, and they got back to us the next day.
Wow.
So we scheduled the meeting about 2 weeks later, and I got
so this is pretty early.
And it was early. It was March 18th.
Tell us about the man. We'll get into a few of the issues, but look, when you see him on television, he's a real Southern gentleman. So it's you don't know. Sometimes you can kill him with kindness, and you hear that Southern accent, and you just want to melt it away. But,
well, I'll tell you what. He is a gentleman. He is very bright and very professional. And he gave us time in his office, and we were supposed to have 30 minutes with him, and he gave us almost an hour.
Wow.
I mean, sitting with us regarding the issues we wanted to talk to him about.
And let's talk about those issues, because I know that they are near and dear to your heart. Even before you met with him, I know that you had been looking at the question of crimes against peace officers. And that includes police, fire, school officers, whatever it is, people that are
officers, everybody.
So let's talk about that question: crimes against police officers.
Well, it came up when we were
officers.
talking about really going after the serious and violent felons, the cartels, the drug dealers, and whatnot, and how dangerous it is out there for our law enforcement officers. And once that topic came up, then I said, and it's getting more dangerous. The attacks on peace officers, you can see them. On television daily, what's occurring.
And let's talk about that, because here's the challenge. Look, we've seen a lot, I shouldn't say a lot, there have been isolated incidents where police officers appear to have acted in a way that was not appropriate. And there was loss of life by a civilian. And look, an anecdote can cause a whole chapter of a book to be written, even though we only saw 15 seconds.
Absolutely.
And so that presents a challenge for you when people extrapolate from an anecdote.
Right. And that's a very small percent of what's going on out there. The men and women of law enforcement risking their lives and what they do on a daily basis. I just saw it. We just did the officer-involved shooting on the December 2nd incident.
You're talking about San Bernardino's tragedy?
San Bernardino terrorist attack. And we talked about that with Sessions on how our law enforcement officers responded and really stopped any more victims anymore, because they were going to go kill. We had 23 officers in a shootout, and when everybody else is running, they're there. They've got bullets whizzing by their head.
And what's amazing about that incident, sir, is uniformly we heard that your colleagues in law enforcement acted with the utmost in professionalism at every step of the way.
And that's what they do every day, and the public forgets about that. So when I put this Crimes Against Peace Officer unit together with lawyers that's all they do, they handle these cases, I was amazed at how many crimes there are against peace officers.
Do you remember the horrors of Dallas?
God, it was horrible.
Where the police officers were targeted.
This year alone, in 2016, I should say, we put about 212 individuals in state prison for going after law enforcement officers, felonies, and then another 1,000 plus for other felonies and misdemeanors against peace officers. I was shocked at the numbers.
Did you at all talk about police cameras? Because in some ways, I could make the argument that those are of benefit to police officers, because look, it's there.
We've had those
discussions. No question.
And
with Mr. Sessions?
Right, and not with Mr. Sessions, but in general, talking about that, you're absolutely right. It's going to show the great work of peace officers. But we're talking about that with Mr. Sessions, and he turns to his chief of staff and says, my God, they have a model We should be protecting our federal officers.
And that model is your unit.
Crimes Against Peace Officers.
That's the unit,
in San Bernardino County. So, you know, I was very proud of the work that my office is doing in that area, and it looks like Attorney General Sessions is going to take this very seriously to protect the federal officers.
So let's talk about how you can scale up that unit.
Right.
I mean, look, San Bernardino County is the largest geographic county in the lower 48. I mean, it's not as if you're a small county. You really have scale here.
Right.
You know, you have over 2 million residents. Can you talk to your friends in, you know, Alabama, Arkansas, whatever, all the way down to Wisconsin?
And I'm doing that, and other counties, Tulare County in California. The DA there is Tim Ward, and about a month ago he had a big press conference, and he took our model and gave us credit and said, this has to be what we're doing across not only California but America.
How do we, if I can ask, sir, how do we get back to that place, back to 9/11, when we were so reverent of our peace officers? Because look, there are bad seeds in any profession.
Absolutely.
And so, and look, I mean, I'm just remembering, didn't KPCC do a whole expose on police officer shootings? And so you're under a microscope a bit, not you, but meaning the county. And, and so, you know, look, again, bad seeds, but I'd love to get back to a place where we can feel that support, that strength of our police officers.
And I think it starts in the community, and you see those programs, you know, where your officers are involved. You're involved with the prevention intervention programs, with the kids, with the all those in school to get back to that respect. And
I think we're getting there.
And we are.
I think we're getting there.
I truly believe that.
I want to ask you about the National Peace Officers Memorial. Tell us about that. I don't know a lot about it. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so every year, you know, we have a National Peace Officers Memorial Week.
We've talked about this. Remind me, yes.
We had our event on May 15th in Upland, San Bernardino County. And, you know, it's to, you know, really remember the sacrifices, the ultimate sacrifice of law enforcement that have given up their lives to protect us. You know, it happened horribly last year in Riverside County, the 2 Palm Springs officers, you know, that were murdered, LA County Sheriff, and then the year before that.
Ryan Bonaminio, I remember in Riverside.
And then you had Deputy Jeremy McKay in San Bernardino County, and that's why I created Crimes Against Peace Officer, because of that case. So we must never forget, because they leave behind families and children, and you know, I see Mrs. McKay once or twice a year, and watching his little boy grow up.
Riverside Councilman Mike Subaru's wife, as you know, was married before.
I know her very well.
Yeah, and she lost her first husband, a police officer,
absolutely,
in a incident.
Absolutely, in a line of duty. So I think us as citizens that it is I truly believe it's a civic duty that we pay tribute to them.
It's interesting that you're leading that charge, in that you're the DA, not the sheriff. I'm not, no criticism here. It's just kind of nice that, if you ever Google and go back and look at my conversation with the former Jon Stewart show back then, I remember
when he
did
came
that.
after one of our deputy sheriffs, and I said, no, that's wrong, and he had all the facts wrong. So,
and he appreciated your participation. It wound up being a very respectful performance. And I thank you for joining us on our show. This is called Local Edition, and we're coming to you from the Inland Empire. I'm Brad Pomerance. Thanks for joining us.